Adam McGill has figured out the special formula in this year's AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series. He overwhelmed the competition again last week in North Carolina to take his second straight victory and secure the series points lead. The competition needs to stop him before it's too late. It's the VP Racing Fuels Big Buck GNCC just outside of Greenville, South Carolina. Got our youth ATV riders out here right now. We've got a class for everyone in this, the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Maxxis, an AMA National Championship. Yeah, that's right, a class for everything. Can-Am Ace out there. Haven't seen one of those hit the cross-country tracks yet. That's a relatively new vehicle. But, of course, the big story is always your Pro ATV race, and that's what we're going to cover today on Racer TV. I'm Jason Wygant to give you the call. Adam McGill has won the previous 2 rounds, and everyone else trying to figure out what it's going to take to stop him, but it's not going to be easy early because he's off to the races with a good start. $250 from AMSOIL coming his way. He has nailed the starts this year. Hasn't been a strength for him the last few seasons, so clearly some changes to the machine, and with the dust we have out here, the big buck, well, that start's going to be ever more crucial. And here is McGill already rolling away from the field. He has gone to another level this season. Oh, it looks like a rare good start for Walker Fowler, who I believe I saw coming through in third. Fowler won the opening round of the season and was a close second in last year's championship chase. You also want to watch for Chris Borich, who is the 6-time and defending GNCC champ. But look at McGill. You give him an open track and he's just lethal, has so much momentum, just pounds through the stuff, but is actually pretty smooth while doing it, while hitting things at high speeds. Bryson Neal second, Fowler third. This section is very tight, as you can see. Chris Bithel's got a good start. That's the yellow machine, the Suzuki. But the CST Tire Blocks Pirate MX back McGill on the Lonestar Racing DeRisi Honda. He's already checked out. Now, in the past, riders have been able to run him down, as we see Neal and Fowler still second and third. Then it's Jay Shadrin. Chris Borich has moved up, along with Bithel, Jared McClure, Johnny Gallagher, Kevin Yoho. So these guys all still have a shot at it. It's a 2-hour race, and we've seen them run McGill down before, but this year he has had something special. Nearly won the opener, led just about every mile of that race except the last one, and then has dominated the last 2 rounds. There's one of the famous creek jumps here at the bottom of the Big Buck facility. You work your way up and down through the lowlands. You see all the leaves that are being kicked aside by McGill. They don't get to practice on these courses. You ride it for the first time in the race, so they're figuring out where the good lines are and where the traction is. Fowler may have moved into the number 2 spot, but he's got his work cut out for him. Might just have to concede these opening laps to McGill. No, sorry, it is still Neal in second. Then Fowler and now Bithel moving up to 4th. Big crowd down here for this mud bog section. Not too bad, but then you got a big hill coming out. And as always, the cameras never really indicate how steep the climb is. You can see how high up we are, though, and listen to the engines bogging. Lugging at the top. And that was McClure, who's at the tail end of that group. Second, third, fourth, fifth are close, but no one is close to McGill, who's already started to stretch it out. 11th mile of his first lap, only about a mile left before we've completed it. Probably a 4-lap race today. That's the general rule in GNCC racing. Doesn't matter where we're racing, though, this year or how. Adam McGill, he's the man to beat. Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL and by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. VP Racing Fuel's Big Buck Grand National Cross Country Race rolls along here on NBCSN. That is Adam McGill out of West Virginia leading the way. Walker Fowler has climbed up to second. The Ohio rider on the Yamaha. Bryson Neal, a young kid holding off a veteran. Chris Bithell in a good battle for third. And as McGill continues to roll, still waiting for a charge from Chris Borich, who is our 6-time and defending GNCC champ. Made the switch to Yamahas this year after a real long run on Suzuki's. Still getting used to the equipment. Hasn't quite been the same Chris Borich this year. But it's a long season as we watch Neal and Bithell continuing to mix it up, and Bithell makes the move. Bithell looking for consistent finishes here, had mechanical problems at our opening round, sent him way back in the points. This is Jared McClure. He comes through next, a pretty distant 5th right now. But McClure, one of the stronger riders out here. We'll see if he can make up this ground as the race drags on. And there is McGill. And looks like Fowler on the N-Fab AmPro Yamaha has closed the gap up just a little bit. So Fowler going to try to make a race of it here, and he needs to. Cannot let McGill win 3 in a row. And look at Neal, has repassed Bithell. So this new kid versus old veteran battle continues to roll. That's a good one for third. Looks like McGill has responded to the challenge from Fowler, has stepped up the pace. And we'll see if Fowler can continue to close. Bithell back into third. Great racing for this third place spot. Now Bithell extending it just a bit over Neal. And McClure trying to make a run from 5th. Neal did finish 2nd at our 2nd race of the year, the Maxxis General GNCC. So he has experience putting it up into the podium positions. He can get it done. This could come down to a one-on-one battle in front of that, though, between McGill and Fowler. Bithell all alone in third. Can he run them down and make it a 3-way fight? As he's broken past Neal and McClure. Gap is fairly well stable between McGill and Fowler. At one point, I think Fowler was a little bit closer than this. But look, Bithell is indeed making a run on the Maxxis Suzuki. Keeping Fowler in check. Then Neal comes through in 4th. How close is McClure in 5th? Now they're all pretty much equidistant apart. Oh! Big near crash for McClure, and now trying to get back on track. Wow, he just tagged a tree. And that's the golden rule of cross-country racing. The trees don't move. You hit one, you're going for a wild ride. Now, Chris Borich and Landon Wolf putting pressure on. It's a good race back here between these three to get into the top 5. Borich 6th, Wolf 7th. Back to our leader, McGill. And as always, just using the momentum. He can hit stuff. He can enter corners at speeds you don't think you can hit, and a rough terrain at speeds you don't think you can hit, and just brush it off. A little bit more of a point-and-shoot variety is Fowler, but it's working out about the same. They are matching each other, and well done here for Bithell to keep those two in sight. And it looks like a little rebound here from Neal has found the pace again. It might not be over in the fight between he and Bithell for third. Well, so much talk about Chris Borich and Walker Fowler this season. Those two took it down to the last corner of last season, battling for the title. So everyone assumed championship would come down to them. But how about this? Adam McGill dominated the opening round in Florida, basically did everything but win it, has won the last two, and is leading here at round 4 in South Carolina. And it's time for these guys to step up. They've got to answer the challenge that McGill has put forth so far this year. He's just rolling along. To the top of the hill we go. I'd say critical juncture, not just in this race, but in this championship. Fowler has got to try to get some control back. He cannot let McGill win 3 in a row. Bithell making a run for it as well, nearing the halfway point of this Big Buck GNCC. And how about the kid, Bryson Neal, not letting the lead trio go. McClure's got a pack of Yamahas behind him. This thing's starting to tighten up. Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL and by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. We've got a battle on our hands here at the Big Buck GNCC. Jason Wygant here to give you the call. Adam McGill leading the way. Walker Fowler in second continues to close the gap, and for the first time, Fowler can see McGill in front of him, and that makes all the difference. And earlier in the show, we were saying how pivotal it is, this event. Oh, these guys trying to corner on those slippery tree roots. You hear the NASCAR drivers say no front grip. I'm going to talk about no front grip. Take a corner like this. Off camber, rutted, and tree roots. Not easy. Anyway, Fowler has closed it in. Oh, completely new line from Bryson Neal in fourth, and that's legal. The rule is you have to be within 25 feet of the arrows. One of those trees right in the middle, the big tree, would have an arrow on it, and you can go 25 feet in either direction. Now, the disadvantage of going off to the side, you never know what you're going to get. You might snag a tree root or a tree or a rock, so a lot of times they stick to the main race line. Fowler has caught McGill. And to further this discussion on strategy, the question is, will he try to pull the trigger now or wait to the last lap? A lot of times, these guys walk the track on Fridays before the race. They pick out 2 or 3 passing zones, and they do not reveal them until the last go-around because they don't want anyone else to know about it. Bithell, Neal, McClure, still all solid. Any one of these guys in the top 5, I think, could win this one. The gaps have closed up quite a bit, especially here. Now Fowler is just putting pressure on McGill. And again, we're going to see, does he try to go for the lead immediately, or will he hang back? These are long races, and a lot of times making a sprint halfway through and getting out front backfires. You just spend a lot of energy, and then you make a mistake later, or tangle up with a lap rider, and you give it all back, and it's just wasted effort. And Boric, your 6-time and defending champ, he made his money by waiting to the end, so we'll see how Fowler plays it. And this is all assuming that because he's caught McGill, he can pass him. He just might not be able to get it done. You never know. Bithell back here in third. Every time Neal and McClure get close, he seems able to fend them off. And look at the dirt here today. Perfect conditions. We had some dust out in the field sections, but here in the woods it is perfect. The weather is great today too, in the 70s. A great spring day for cross-country racing. And it has been cool off the track, but it is heating up front. It's like no goggles for Bithell here in third. Then it's Neal and McClure. McClure could be the fastest of this group. In a big gap to bridge earlier, and he did it. And now, the question has been answered. Walker Fowler to the lead on the N-Fab AmPro Yamaha. And the Lonestar DeRisi Racing Honda of McGill pushed back to second. Now McGill gets the chance to be the hunter, and it worked out well for him at the last race. He's been getting good starts at most of the rounds this year, but he did not get it at our last race at North Carolina. He had to dig, scratch, and claw all day long, and McGill didn't take the lead at our last race until the last lap, so he can come from behind. Neal has retaken third from Bithell. McClure is still there. 2 great battles on this track. One for the lead, and this one between Neal, Bithell, and McClure for third, fourth, and fifth. And we'll keep you on top of it, but let's switch to our bike coverage, which raced on Sunday. Yeah, we race ATVs and motorcycles every weekend at AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country. The rider to beat the number 1 on the inside, Caleb Russell on the FMF KTM. Won the first 3 races this year, has won the last 2 GNCC titles, and he's got the whole shot here for good measure. Look at Jordan Ashburn in the number 3 Yamaha trying to work him down the inside. We have a second pro class out here in the bikes called XC2. This is for 250cc machines and generally younger, hungry riders out here battling for it. Great start. Nick Davis grabbing the Hot Cams Whole Shot Award on the Husqvarna, and it's going to lead them around early. Jason Thomas on the number 17 right behind him, and this class has been wide open this year. Davis won the opener. Thomas has won the last two, and this podium has been shared by a variety of riders. They all think they can win today in XC2. In XC1, it has been all about Russell, and you see the number one getting away from the field. Now, a much better start than usual for Strang here in the Rockstar Husqvarna, and he is doing everything he can to keep Russell in sight. At most of the races this year, Strang has not gotten up to speed on the early laps and hasn't been able to keep Russell in focus, but he's able to do it today, so a better chance than usual to upset your series leader. Chris Bach, Ryan Sipes, Daniel Milner, Jordan Ashburn. These guys all running the pace up front, and look out for Grant Baylor here, a rookie and a South Carolina native. He won the XC2 title the last 2 years, waiting for him to find his stride on the 450 Yamaha this year, and maybe he can be the one that stops Russell's run up front. But as the race would go on, Russell would begin to get away. He had a couple crashes early. He was able to overcome that and then start to make tracks on the field. Strang, second at our first 3 rounds. Does not want to be second to Russell again here today at round 4. This is Baylor putting on a push from third. Now he wants to challenge Strang for that second place. Well, Strang wanted the second place streak to end, but he wanted to do it by winning one of these, not yielding third to Baylor. Down the stretch, Russell gets away. 4 wins in 4 rounds for your defending champ. We haven't seen a season start like that since Strang won the first 4 back in 2010, and he did go on to win the title that year. This time, Strang will start it with 4 straight second place finishes. Look at Baylor. Best run of the year so far for the young kid in his home race. He ends up third. Bach and Stuart Baylor, that's Grant's older brother, in the top 5. That's our bike race. We'll have our ATV conclusion after this. Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL and by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Walker Fowler maintaining the lead over Adam McGill right now, but he's into lap traffic. This is the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series from South Carolina, a 2-hour ATV race, and we've reached the 3/4 mark. Fowler doing a good job clearing the lap. Ryder, who he's now shoved between he and McGill. Here's McGill. Man, that corner is just so treacherous. And as we theorized early in the race, this would be a pivotal round in the series. McGill got the drop on everyone. He won the last 2 rounds. He had the series points lead. Fowler knows he cannot let McGill have any more momentum. Halfway through this race, Fowler was able to take the lead from McGill, so now McGill has to try to return the favor. Good battle behind them. You've got Jared McClure and Bryson Neal scrapping for the podium positions. And here is Fowler. He's just so strong and aggressive. A little bit more of a smooth flowing riding style from McGill, and these two have battled so many times over the last few years. And this will be fun to watch them tangle it up today. Neal and McClure still waging war over third. McClure on the JMR ATVRiders.com machine. He was 5th for a long part of this race, so third's got to feel good for him. But Neal's not going to make it easy to keep that spot as they keep on battling here. There is McClure, there is Neal. They've gotten away a bit from Chris Bithell, who had that 3rd place position for a while. Back to your leaders, Fowler and McGill, and they are really turning it up now. McClure back in 3rd. He would love to catch the lead too, but the number 1 goal right now is to just try to keep Bryson Neal here at bay. That'll be easier said than done. These kids, they have limitless energy reserves. Look how close it is for the lead here in these tight woods. It's still Fowler. It's still McGill. Order is the same, but McGill is closer every time we look. Now, streaking out onto the field section, trying to polish this one off. And this would be huge in the championship for Fowler, who was a disappointing 6th at our last race. He desperately needed to get a win today. He came so close to the championship a year ago. came up about a wheel length short at the end. He knows every point will count. You have to start the year strong, not just end it on top. And he ends today strong, getting his second win of the year. Great run by McGill in second. He wanted that third straight victory. These two really setting the scene for what could be a great championship fight. And Jared McClure bringing the JMR ATVRiders.com machine in for his first podium finish of the season. Well done, fending off Neal and Bithell. Here are your results. Chris Borat, 6th today. Not what the defending champion wanted or needed on the Yamaha. Expect him to bounce back. Hey, Fowler was 6th at our last race and came back to win today. This season is wide open. Let's give you the AMSOIL race recap. Well, the field did not want to see Adam McGill get another good start, but that's exactly what he did. Grabbing the AMSOIL hole shot, and he pulled away from there. Just so strong early in these races. Halfway through, though, Fowler started turning it up and made a race of it. Battle it out they did, not only for the lead, but for third. Neal, McClure, and Bithell really slugging it out late in the race. McClure securing third. Fowler would not be headed once he had the lead. 2 wins in 2 races this year. Same for McGill. This is going to be a great season.